This is kind of the part where Java is not so nice because it requires a lot of extra stuff and extra complexity. We will look at all this stuff and the complexity. There's good reasons to add it. It's just there aren't that many good reasons to require you to have them at the very beginning. But oh well. So a lot of times I will tell you just cut and paste this for now. When we write a program, right, we want to process some input and produce some outputs. Eventually, you want to write GUIs or web-based stuff, but right now we are gonna read inputs from the keyboard and produce output to the screen. Actually, many times, the way I'm asking you to write stuff in the assignments, you'll be just writing functions and you don't know what's the total end result. But we store the information temporarily in variables, right? Which we have talked about. They have a name, they have a type, and they have a value. Traditionally, the first program is just a hello world. And we are gonna do something like that, except with a twist. We are gonna actually read input, the name of the person, and write an output. In Java, you read input using system.in. System.in is some kind of stream and it represents the keyboard. You write stuff to the screen with system.out and it kind of represents the screen. However, they ended up not system.in wasn't that useful. It allowed you to read one letter at a time, which is not terribly useful. So they created a new class called scanner. And that has more useful methods like input.nextLine. We will talk a lot about methods, but for now, just so you know, right, we have seen methods on strings, right? The full name of the class is java.util.scanner. In order to not be typing that full name all the time, Java allows you to organize your classes into packages, and then this import statement just says, whenever you see the type scanner, I really mean java.util.scanner. The packages are like folders in a file system, but this is for your classes, and this allows us to even have different libraries define classes with the same name as long as the full name is not the same. You'll see that with Eclipse and in all of my examples, my full examples and assignments, we have always a package, and we'll have a bunch of import statements at the very beginning. In Java, you always have to define a class. You cannot have a program without a class, so we'll be doing public class. And the class needs to have the same name as the file, so in this case, it's hello. And the execution of your program starts on the main method. This is something that you have to cut and paste. Public static void main. And this main method takes an array of string arguments. This is kind of a parameter definition. This is just a normal function like the ones we have been doing. And so we are defining our parameter name to be args. This name you could change, but normally you would write the exact same thing, so just cut and paste this. And this is where your thing starts. We are creating a new variable called input of type scanner, and we create it by calling the new operator, creating a new scanner, and passing it system.in. So the scanner is going to read from the keyboard. For now, you can try to understand. You can also take it as gospel, right? But now we have a variable of type scanner. We will use system.out to print, system.out print line and print something. Please enter your name. We are using the method next line of the scanner class on the input. So we say input, give me the next line. And that is whatever the user wrote. We are assigning that into a variable called name of type string. And then we are printing the string hello and a space concatenated with name. So let me go to Eclipse and change it a little bit to define functions, right? This works. Again, we have a package. I'm importing one more thing, a print stream. System.out is a print stream, not a scanner or whatever system.in is, right? Other than that, it is the same thing. Now, let's define methods or procedures, right, or functions to do things. We could say, I don't really want to know much about this, and how do you concatenate? Maybe we want to change that and say other things. So I could define a method. It's not going to return anything. It's just going to print this hello name. So we could say it's a void method. It takes, let's call it say hi, or say hello, or how do you say salute? Let's do say hi for now. And then we pass it the name, and just to make it portable, we are going to pass it the print stream, and I'm going to call it out. This way, if we eventually wanted to use this on a file, we could pass it a different print stream, and this will be printed to a file or something like that. It also allows me to actually write unit tests that work. So we would do for now out.println, and I can actually copy and paste this. And so instead of system out println hello name, I would have say hi with name and system.out. And Eclipse is not auto-completed because I have a mistake. Here we need to do public static. This is noise that we mentioned when we are doing functions and things like that. Public just means that everybody can access it. Static means you don't need an instance, you only need the class. We will really define those things and understand them later. For now, you can either try to understand or just see them as noise. Put them as noise. We will explain the noise later. And so if we run this, it should work exactly the same way. Yes, always save it. Okay. It's gonna ask me here, please enter your name. I type my name. And it says, hello, Orlando. Woohoo! What does defining this function or procedure buys us, right? What it buys us is that we could change this implementation. So if we want to be fancier, we could do how do you do, right? And oops, sorry, another plus. Main doesn't need to change at all. Main just calls this method, and this method, right, this function defines what the heck it does. So now we call it, we type my name again, and so now it will do this, right? We could change it to say things like this. Sup, Orlando. So it's not important what we are saying, it's just important what we are, that this encapsulates that information. Now, main is gonna call say hi, and this guy will figure out how we want to say hi, whether we're going to be formal, informal, or whatever. We could also want to encapsulate this, right? These two things in a way are together. I'm asking for a name and getting the input. So we could have a function that returns a string, say get name from user. And what it's gonna take is the print stream and the scanner. We call it in. in here. And let me do public static before I forget. We are basically can cut and paste this, except in this case our parameter is called in, so that's what we need to use here. We could have renamed our parameter, but I want to show that you don't have to use the same names. And now we will return name. And so now we can change this into this, right, we are calling it, we are storing the result here, and we are calling it like this. Please enter your name. I'm gonna keep typing my name because I feel bad about lying to this program, and it's gonna somehow say hi. So we could put it back to hello. Hello. And that is how we can encapsulate. Now, I don't really know how I'm getting the name. They could ask, please enter your name. They could ask some other stuff. They could ask maybe first and last name and combine them. They could do whatever the heck they want, right? I don't care in main. And then I'm calling say hi. And then again, this could print whatever it wants to print. And that is how we could have a fully working program. Woohoo! It runs, it prints to the screen, it reads from the keyboard, and that is basically what we are gonna be doing for this class, is showing you more things that you can do still kind of within this framework.